Hello, welcome to May 4th, 2022. I'm Kurt, and this is my daily Good Life meditation. It's an exercise that I do every morning, shortly after waking up, to remind myself of my life objectives and principles, and to look at yesterday and last night to see how I did. I was using these principles towards the achievement of my objectives. Not the achievement so much as the living of the objectives, because the objectives aren't something that I actually reach. They're something that I do. Reach rather than do. And then I also prepare for today. Boy, yesterday was, or last night, what a strange night. I had a bad day yesterday at work. All things relative, right? Bad is what it is. It was just a hard day. There was some bad news. Something that I thought might happen did happen. And in the end, it's not going to be bad. It's going to be fine. It's actually probably a turn for the better. It's just that it's a lot. It's work to manage and figure it out. It would be a lot easier to drive to San Jose without getting a flat tire along the way. But that's what happened. Got a flat tire on the project, so I can handle that. That's what I do. But as a result, I slept horribly. I was up fully awake, probably 3:45, an hour and 15 minutes before the alarm. And that time really goes slowly then, goes so slow. I'm fully awake. Okay, and I was just going through the problem and other problems, and then I did something really strange. I told you, like about 3 or 4 days ago, I woke up, worrying about a problem for a project that I'm no longer on, for a job that I no longer have. As ridiculous as that is, wow! Not even getting paid to worry about that one. But last night was a whole new one. I woke up. Well, I was already kind of awake, but I was like tossing and turning in and out as a result of sleeping. And I woke up worrying about a cruise missile project. I could see the cruise missile flying through the air, like you see on those television reels, and it was a bright red one. I don't know what the problem was, but something was wrong, although I could see it flying. It's kind of a strange thing. It's not like I'm managing the rocket in flight. Somehow I was involved with the project to create the thing. Oh, man. And now I'm worrying about projects that don't even, well, maybe there is a red cruise missile project out there somewhere, but I can't say it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist in my life. It's not part of my life. What am I doing? What's my mind doing? Part of me thinks that it's just that having something to do gives us something to do, right? The principle of distraction. Otherwise, we're, left twiddling our thumbs. And having something to do that's a problem is even more so. Well, I don't like it. I don't want to live like this. But I don't know what I would do if I didn't have it, right? Anyway, so that was that. I didn't sleep so well. Yesterday was a tricky day. I also had some bad news yesterday on the project. And it's not even bad that I could foresee coming a week ago. I didn't even see this coming. It was a result of just manifest. It just manifested. Perhaps if I had done this type of project before, I could have seen it coming, but this is a first for me. But yeah, it's gonna frustrate, disappoint, and cause confusion. So I've got to deal with that today. I don't want to, but I will. And the other one was I had a real bullseye aim moment. Now I'm not going to share any details. But some bullseye aims moments you can't. It's not just a matter that the knife missed the target or the throw it out. Or the dart. And you got to go pick it up and repair whatever damage you caused. So I didn't sleep well, had a tough day, and now I'm having a tough morning. Let's do the good life. 7 objectives, 30 principles. My 7 objectives are: 1, to be always ready to die. 2, to make good and effective use of my time. 3, to develop and maintain good and sound life principles. 4, to cultivate good emotional reactions. 5, to perform good actions. 6, to recognize true limits and true opportunity. And 7, somehow I ended up with 8, to do just one thing at a time and to do that thing slowly. Oh, because I went from the 5, 6, that's right, those 5, 6, 7, that is 7. So those are my 7 objectives in a very cursory fashion. I reserve the right to do the lightning round. Now, 30 principles. Number 1 is the principle of war, to always be fighting against things that I think are true. Not against the things that I don't think are true, although maybe those too. But my main focus is on the things that I already believe are true. I guess that's necessary, right? Because the stuff that you don't think is true, then I'm naturally skeptical about, and it goes through the rigors of due diligence before I will believe them. It's the ones that I already believe that I'm on the lookout for smugglers that have got in, things that I believe that somehow got through my guard. That's why the emphasis of the due diligence is on the things that I already believe. Number 2, the second principle is the development and maintenance. Is that right? Or the principle of reason. And the sub-principles of honesty, objectivity, and doubt. The frame of mind and the approach that I take to things. 3, the homunculus. The suggestion that we do not have a soul, but we do get a consciousness to use for some brief decades. Excuse me, or years. However long we're alive. And then the Anchorhold is the next principle. The idea that the consciousness is trapped within our head, similar to a man trapped on a small rock in the sea, with an impossible distance to swim to safety. Can't even get in the water. Oh, it's too cold, too deep, and too many sharks. Just gotta sit on the rock and weather the elements, like I'm doing right now. I'm weathering the elements right now. I'm not gonna go crawl back into bed. I'll push through this, even if I do the lightning round. Then I'll do all the things. I'll read my Bible. I'll fire up the computer. I've already written in the journal. I did that first thing when I got up this morning. I kind of liked that very first thing after I cleaned up, came in here, did my journal entry, and then started this. I knew this was going to be rough, so I wanted to get that done. Also, the dogs, as soon as I finish the video, they kind of know that I'm about to go downstairs, so they kind of get all anxious, so it kind of rushes me on the journal. If I do the journal first, although they did sit there and stare at me, it goes a little easier, I think. Okay, so then after the Anchorhold comes, the Wow, my brain is all scrambled this morning. War, reason, homunculus, anchorhold, purpose. And my three purpose are to biology, virtue, and mission. Biology is, being a family man and raising a kid. Virtue is living a virtuous life, pursuing the well-being of others, particularly thinking creatures. And mission is to sharing the message of the story of my life, which is in going alone. So at least it's the story of the going alone part, and then the message of the good life. And next comes the atomic principle. Everything is made of bits and pieces, flowing and changing, forever transforming. And then the principle of nature. Everything has some particular nature, and it's good to recognize what that is. I should remember that for you. We were thinking about it yesterday. And then maturity. No, not yet that. The pirate ride. The suggestion that free will is an illusion. Then comes maturity, and the sub-principles of wisdom and fortitude, which are the frame of mind and the approach that we take to become a more mature human being. And then the social principle. Human beings need one another. It's not good to go alone too long. That's the point of my book. Coming Back. I should have called that sequel Coming Back. Going alone and coming back. And then it's not too late. And then Temperance. And the sub-principles of suffering, simplicity, and apathy. Because we suffer when we are temperate, when we deny ourselves what we want, or, deny ourselves excess. And a temperate life is a simple life. And apathy is our ability to accept things that are outside of our control. Next comes the horror show. Life is a frighteningly terrible, scary place. All kinds of terrible things happening all around us. And I don't want to hide from that or pretend it's not happening, but I'll face it. And next comes after the horror show comes that which must be borne, carried. We have to carry the fact of the horror show, and we have to carry the responsibilities that we've taken on in our life. I don't know why I'm hiccuping so much. And then the Feast of Offal, which is what happens when we get upset and we kind of blow up into the world. I don't want to do that. I want to hold it in. I want to keep it in. I want to manage it internally, not pass my upset to others. And what others are trying to pass their upset into the world. Instead of accepting it, I will let it pass and then offer them a hug. Next, after the Feast of Offal, comes two principles, distraction and agency in the Great Indifference. The second one, agency in the Great Indifference, suggests that there is no God, that we're alone. And distraction is what we do so that we don't have to see that fact. And we distract ourselves with our careers and our school and our families and our sports that we enjoy and church and all that stuff. I choose not to distract myself. Well, I mean, I do. I can't help it, but I used to go alone so that I could witness the Great Indifference. I've seen enough of that, I think. So now I tend to stay home. Next comes the best seat in the house. To not want to be anywhere else, or be doing anything else, but to be okay right here, right now, right who I am. And then the Path of Wildness. That's a way to break through the inertia of our current life and into a new life by collecting facts, being prepared to consider them, and then to make a choice. If we need more time, to give ourselves more time. But eventually, time runs out. we make a choice. And even if we can't make a clear empirical choice, or a choice based on clear empirical evidence, then it's okay to lean on our gut a little bit. Although recognizing that gut feelings can be wrong, so can evidence. But going for it nonetheless. We may fall flat on our face, but that's an adventure too. Next comes the risk of avoiding risk. There are the surface level risks of life, of school, career, family, security, and then the deep level risk. Oh, home is in there too. And then the deep level risk of if we're drawn to find ourselves, to not spend the time and make the effort to do that, we'll probably find ourselves somewhat lost later in life. It gets real hard to recover later in life. Next comes sin and damnation. I'm rushing things. Sin and damnation. There are 7 sins in my worldview. These are falsity, being untrue; credulity, believing things too easily; faith, belief founded on belief; superstition, categorically identified nonsense beliefs; dogma, belief founded on tradition and the great canonical text and all the trappings that are associated with that; authority, a belief founded upon being impressed by someone or something, an institution or a person; and then gossip, talking about others behind their back. The consequence of those is damnation in the here and now. I don't think there's any afterlife. We'll be damned. Next comes complete oblivion. If there's no afterlife, then we're not going to see our loved ones after we're dead, or our friends, or anybody. And we won't have a chance to reconcile any differences, and we won't have a chance to see justice served, because we won't be around. Neither will they. So we better seek after those things, try to make amends, connect, make amends, and do good, or I don't know, the justice part is tricky because we can't be vigilantes. But you get what I mean. Okay, now that was complete oblivion. Now the great life adventure is an experience that we can have in our lives that helps to form our character and becomes part of our identity. You can have more than one. I recommend the great life adventure in the decades of the 20s after college. And then comes the season of philosophy, a time to record what we've learned along the way. And then suddenly I'm feeling better. Just a wave of suddenly feeling better. And then the great life adventure, the season of a philosophy, a time to record what we've learned along the way, or record the words as they come, the inspiration. And you can force it. Samuel Johnson describes that well. That fortitude can press the muse. I like the way that sounds. Fortitude can press the muse. Then the bullseye aim, striving to hit the mark but usually missing. The uphill climb, taking another step and trudging upward. That's the thing. So after I retire, I have to keep the uphill climb. If I stop climbing, then I'm gonna wind up in my hobbit hole, which is just a tomb. At least I think so. Uphill climb. Arena and utility is the next principle. Life is an arena, and we can use our principles like tools to help us get through, to do well, do better. Arena and utility. And then that nothing is enough. Reminder that less is better, usually. And then finally, the principle of fun. And some principles of hope and retrospect. A reminder to enjoy myself, have a good time, and to enjoy the anticipation of a good time and the remembrance of a good time as well. Okay, well, wow. It's interesting how plugging through our routine can have good effects. I feel better. I feel better because I pressed through. Well, I don't know exactly why I feel better. I just suddenly feel better. I think today's going to work out. It's the two things that are on my mind are not big things at all. And the cruise missile is not even a real project, and it's certainly not my project. So just let the cruise missile go. And I'll focus on the issues on my project, and I'll get to them. And if I have to work a little overtime this evening, I'll do that. It's all going to be just fine. It's all going to be fine. Well, so I'll get up now, go over, read my Bible. I think I'm on Isaiah 30, maybe 29 or 30 today. And then I've already done my journal entry, upload the video, go downstairs, feed the dogs, feed myself, get my day started. I'm going to make it a good day, because I can. And because there'll never be a day quite like this one. Yeah, that's so sappy, but you get the idea. I'm trying to be my own cheerleader right now. Rah, rah, sis, boom, ba. Go team. Yay. He'd make an awful cheerleader. Take care. Bye-bye. Be safe, but not too safe.